Okay. A little shorter practice today, and then guys they've earned a nice little break, spring break next week. So over halfway done. Only 2 weeks left for spring ball. I'm proud of the work the guys have put in. Still got some work to do, but most of them right now, unless they have class tomorrow, are probably heading home or somewhere with their buddies. And so we reminded them about their responsibility with that. But it's been a pretty good spring so far.
So, Rich, it looks like you have a coaching opening?
Yeah. I was surprised you guys didn't ask about it yesterday. I guess I would have said something, and I didn't know when it was out there, when it doesn't go out there. But Blaine got an opportunity to go back in the NFL, and happy for him. So we'll probably over next week or so I'll interview or look at some potential candidates. But we're well positioned to take care of it right now because having Travis Trickett here, Travis is kind of the floating coach. So when running backs was open, Travis coaching running backs, and inside receivers there is open. He'll coach them. So we're in good shape.
I honestly was going to ask, and I guess you kind of already answered it. Because it's an inside receivers position, you have a wide receivers coach. Are you definitely going to replace this position, or could you get away with not?
No, we could. I mean, we could. I don't get it. Travis could handle anything we want there. But that's why I have some options. I guess you could do, and it'll. First, obviously, thought it's inside receivers and the outside receivers are a little bit different in some of the stuff they do, but it's going to be the recruiting piece is going to be a big part of it. And every coach has to recruit. Everybody in the program has to recruit. But my thought is let me find the guy that can do the best job recruiting, and that will be a big factor on who I hire.
When you look for that recruiting piece, do you look for a guy that has knowledge of a certain territory, or just a guy that's generally a good recruiter?
Yeah, I think a good recruiter, that's a good question. I think a good recruiter can go anywhere. Some of them, inevitably, most of them have a place where they're from, where they recruited a lot that they're comfortable with. But the best ones that I've been around, they can go anywhere. And now it's more positional. Even though we still have areas, it's more positional related than anything else. So I got to find a guy that has and it helps if you had a history of it, of bringing, big time players. And so I think that's what the direction I'm looking at.
The 10 you get to put on the road, is that like written in ink? Can you rotate that during certain times? How does that work?
It is. You have to declare it, and then if a coach happens to get sick or leaves or something, then you can replace it. As I'd like it if it could rotate, like, okay, there's 10 this week, and maybe might be one or two changes next week, and you got big enough staffs you can do that. But you have to declare who they're going to be, and we will do that. I mean, right now it's not an issue because we're not on the road, but when we get on the road, I'll have the 10 best that we think should be on the road, and then. But everybody, I always said this: everybody in the program recruits to some degree. It doesn't matter what your position. If you're the strength coach, you're going to be recruiting because you're going to be talking to guys when they come on campus. So everybody has a recruiting piece, and it does take a collective effort to get our roster to where we want to get it.
Are the young guys the ones who go on the road most because they're more energetic, or the old guys have the knowledge of how it's done?
That might be, that might be what the thought is, but I don't know if that's always the case. I've been around some older coaches that really got after it pretty good on the road. But I think we've got, I guess if you looked at it, our makeup of our staff is pretty young. Typically I'd want the coordinators to not have to be on the road, particularly during the season, because they have so much duties here. And, so but Zach is a really good recruiter, Zach Alley, and, he's been proven to get, when I've been around, to be able to get good players. So I don't know if I want to take him off, but I also know how much time he spent as a coordinator, especially a defensive coordinator for us.
Going to speak to Ryan Garrett today. What was it about him that made you want to bring him here with you?
Yeah, I got to work with Ryan first at Ole Miss 6 years ago, and he was kind of my GA. and loved his energy. I mean, he would do anything and everything. And so I was able to bring him with him when I went to Louisiana Monroe, and he did a great job there. And then at Jack State, he was, one of the hardest working recruiters I got. And puts a lot of time in, just a really, really good young coach and great with the staff. So he's got a great future.
At this point, I assume he's pretty familiar with the system. He's been to use as many stops. How does that play into bringing him with you as well, having someone who knows the system so well, or another person?
Yeah, it's like, hiring Larry Porter. Larry Porter hadn't been in our system, but he's an experienced coach, and he knows how to learn it. I mean, he's been around a little bit, so when you're an experienced coach like that and been in different systems like Larry has, you're able to learn just about everything really quickly. Ryan has been in our system pretty much for the last 5 or 6 years, and so he knows it really, really well, and the whys and the ins and outs of it and all that kind of stuff. So that's obviously a better. And most coaches, you see that, most coaches, when they head coaches, they move from spot to spot, there's always a core group or a handful group of guys that they bring with them, but not only because they know them, but because what they know the value that they have to the program.
Rich, this building and this facility has changed a lot since you were here last time, obviously. But I know I've talked to Ren, and he said, you know what, every new coach has some facility ideas he'd like to see. Have you expressed anything to Ren that you'd like to see change here, change there?
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job here. I think you have just about everything. Obviously everybody has their own kind of, we don't have a lot of sayings, hard edge, earn success. Mm-hmm. Hold the rope, maybe that spot the ball. Those are the kind of the four. But we'll have some. Raquel will help, and we'll have some the messaging, I guess, what it is, or around some of the hallways, and some of the rooms. But other than that, it's there's everything. Now the biggest thing probably from a functionality standpoint is the turfs are getting replaced, which it needed at the practice field. It's going to get done here or starting in a couple weeks, and then the stadium after spring practice, so that's going to be a great thing. It's time now for that to get done. So they were already planning on doing that whether I came or not. So we're in facility wise in pretty good shape. And before that was the big draw. If you're a big time program, you had to have big time facilities, and people are still doing that as part of the draw. You're seeing some of these really phenomenal facilities out there, but we have everything we need here and then some.
As you look around, though, facilities aren't as important as they used to be. It's with revenue sharing.
Yeah, and I said now, you pay enough money, they're changing the trash can. You know what I mean? Give them the right kind of money. So, but it still helps. It shows a commitment. I think you can come in, and when you come in this building for the first time, or you come in there as a recruit or a family, you can see there's a commitment to football. So. I think across the board, I haven't been to all of our facilities, but I know our basketball practice facility is really nice. I'm actually one of the largest donors to that facility. I don't know if you knew that or not. My buyout. I don't know if they have a plaque up or anything, though. So, but no, we have great facility. I think we have a new soccer stadium, right? I think baseball is. I know they have a new facility in their building, an indoor or something. Yeah. So, it's Ren and the school. They've done a great job. It's big time.
What's different about when you come back from spring break for you, the end of spring ball? Because it's still not fall. You still probably got to figure things out position-wise. But I'd imagine there are things you want to see now when they come back that you would have been willing to kind of forgive 3-4 weeks ago that now you kind of would want to.
Yeah, I think when they come back now, we don't have to explain. The scheme part obviously should be a little bit familiar to them now. The way we go about doing things, how we practice, that part I shouldn't have to teach that anymore. We've yelled enough in the last few weeks that they, from drill to drill, however we're doing our methods, that part should be down. But we still got to teach a few things, but we really got to evaluate. Like I said, this 105 thing is hanging over us, cutting the roster to 105. And so I already talked to our coaches and some of our personnel folks that we got to really get a good plan for that, because I know it's a long time till the first week, but that 105, we got to have the best 105 that we could possibly have here, and position wise and everything, and then hope everybody stays healthy through August camp. So that's kind of probably the biggest thing I'm going to be working on over the break is, and I told our GM as well, it's like we've got to look at the roster in totality now, and like what we got to do in the portal coming up, and what moves we got to make to, get it to the best 105. I mean, you're seeing it now. The NFL's got it figured out, right? I mean, you could trade a guy, or if he's hurting your cap a little bit, you could cut him, and he could get in the open market, and they do it in a certain period of time, and then the roster is set. And I would like to think at some point the folks that are making decisions on NCAA rosters and rules would model what the NFL does to some degree, because that's all about being fair and equitable, giving everybody a chance, So we're getting closer to it, but there's still some work to do.
As part of that, do you have to tell kids pretty quickly so they can find a landing spot?
Yeah, you got to tell. You want to be. So that's one reason why we're in the spring ball earlier. I was going to go end on the 12th, and now we're going to end on the 5th to give us a week to talk with our guys and let them know if maybe they need to look at another opportunity and get in the portal and all that. We got to be honest with all of them, and can't keep all of them even if I wanted to because of the roster size. That's going to be the hardest part. And there's going to be some guys that's going to be really hard to let go because they work hard, they do everything right, they're right on the edge. You might be able to help you, but you just need maybe another spot with some more, then have some more guys there. So this spring, this spring is going to be really hard to do that because there's going to be some guys that we don't want to let go that probably going to have to get let go. That's not fun.
This spring has been pretty interesting as far as your running backs go, in that they don't have their number one running back working out, new coach, new system, et cetera. How has all that played out?
Well, it's given an opportunity for a lot of other guys to show us a little bit, and it's good. Jaheim has practiced today and did a lot more today, and then when he gets break, he might be full go when he gets back in a break. But he's kind of a proven guy, so he got to get reps just to learn the system. But we know that we got a pretty good one right there. But all the new guys, Ty and LJ, and Hubbard's been getting a lot of reps. So it's been good to get those guys reps because we had to get those guys evaluated. We want to evaluate everybody, but we know what we have in Jaheim. The other guys we're not sure yet. So I'm not sure that we're still not going to look. Every position we're going to look in the portal to see if there's somebody out there that can make us better. And that'll be some of next week's work, is evaluating guys that are in there in that portal now that maybe could help us.
The wide receiver room, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen there so far? I know you said you had to dip back into the portal. You're open to it at every position, but you did bring in a lot of people there, and now Preston's coming back as well.
Yeah, I still think we probably got to get some more competition there. Ryan's going to do a good job recruiting it. Preston's going to help. He's a proven veteran. Cam Vaughn has played a lot of snaps. Jaden Bray has had some good moments, and there's a couple other guys that have done some good things. The slot positions, we're pretty good there with Rodney and Bowie and Man Singleton. But the outside receiver is still, it's wide open. It's really wide open for us in our 2 deep or 3 deep going forward. So that's one of the positions that we're taking close evaluations on next 2 weeks.
Did you get Preston and Pad yet? I think
Yeah, he got his practice in, so he's practicing. Today we were in shorts, but and Preston's smart enough, and he's been around enough. We really have 4 different receiver positions, 2 slots, 2 outside, and I think he's going to be able to learn them all. So he'll probably play both inside and outside.
I guess a taller guy that can get a 50-50 ball is something everybody wants, but is that something you're looking for?
I think we may have 1 or 2, but I like to have Miami. There's another Chris Henry out there.
I was going to say, those are hard to find.
But yeah, everybody wants that 6'5" guy that can high point it and also run by you. but there, I mean, we're going to look at that. But I also sometimes think we could do a better job of getting all of our receivers to learn every position. Like our outside receivers sometimes get like penciled into that, and we don't ever put them inside. And so part of our goal after the spring and through the summer and camp is to get those guys, Cam and Jaden and some of those guys that are playing predominantly outside, to play some inside as well. And we've got to make it simple enough that they can do that.
How good is Cam? And did you recruit him as a quarterback with the idea he'd move to receiver, or was it just?
I don't even remember. I know he was a quarterback, and I don't even remember. A lot of times that people say to give you a shot, and then they move you the first day. I actually think we told him because he never took any reps at quarterback. So he, from the day he got there, he was at wide out and played some early, but he played obviously last year a whole bunch. He's one of the best athletes on the team, and he's still got room to grow. I mean, Cam he's fast. He's a really competitive guy, but he's going to get stronger too when he adds some strength to it and a little bit of bulk. He's going to improve his game even more. But I'm glad he's here.
I know you were talking earlier this week about football speed. I'm just curious, the football IQ of your guys. I mean, I know in the past I think of guys that played fast that weren't necessarily fast, like Henry and Reed Williams. Do you see those guys on the roster, or is that something that's still a work in progress?
Well, playing the point about playing fast, and part of that's, or a large part of that, is coaching, and for us to get them to they like our quarterbacks. They don't have, when the play is called, they don't have a whole lot of time to decipher things. So they have to be fast thinkers. They have to analyze things quickly. And because we do the tempo, that same's true with offensive line. They don't have a lot of time to think about things or make a lot of calls and all that stuff. So it is a different dynamic. And we're noticing that in the first part of spring. I get frustrated, like, we've had 4 or 5 practices. We should be getting it. But it's still, they're used to, even though they went no huddle here, they're used to a different pace. Everybody is. And our pace is completely foreign to a lot of them. And so once they get it, they get it. But it takes longer, and we're not going to change from the standpoint of, let's go slow and then we can go faster. We want to teach the tempo from the start so they know what it's going to be like, and then they got to catch up to it.
About yesterday, you talked about going for it on 4th down, and like that's become a norm. And it was it wasn't a norm before. Are there other parts of the game that I don't know you could do that maybe no one else is doing? Are there 4th downs out there that people just don't do anymore? Something in the game that could become a new thing, and all of a sudden years from now it's what we're thinking in 10 years.
There was something we were doing that I thought was pretty unique to help us win. No, I wouldn't tell you anything.
But do you
maybe
search for
can
those
figure
things?
it out. I mean, everything's on the internet somewhere, I think. But here like I said, analytics. I think all that is good. I think we as coaches, and this is sometimes but some coaches that brag about their experience, whatever. They're doing the same old thing, same old. We're not doing this. I'm not doing the same stuff. Most of the stuff I'm doing is a little bit different than what I did a few years ago and 20 years ago, and it may change again in another couple of years. There's a lot of smart guys. You get a lot of ideas from other teams, NFL and college teams. You also get a lot of pretty good ideas off of high school coaches because they're kind of stuck with what they got. And, some of them can recruit, but most of them can't. So they can be pretty creative. But I'm not like a big, here's 20 different trick plays. We're going to have a few, but there's methods or ways about, is there a way for us to play faster? Is there a way for us to simplify what we're doing so our guys can understand it? Is there watching the is there a certain defense that, that's kind of unique? So I think I would like to think all college coaches are football junkies to some respect, and that helps you grow, and that's going to help me. It's helped me grow.
Ask you about analytics. I asked a long-time football coach a couple months ago. He said, what do you do when analytics are wrong? I guess his point being that there's instincts and that go into that experience. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think, some of the analytics is common sense, but some of it doesn't take into factor the players that you have and what they do best, or what your team does best, So in other words, if you're a go for it on 4th and 1 guy, and you're backed up in your own 40-yard line, do you guys run the ball well? Do you have a big running back? Do you have a guy that's going to move the pile? That kind of thing. That always plays a factor. Analytics may say, yeah, you want to go for it majority of the time. Well, but if you're a small, weak, not powerful type of running back kind of guy, then maybe you wouldn't do that, right? So I think you have to there's more factors than just what the numbers say, but all that has to go into consideration. I think, like I said yesterday, I think our team needed to be more situational aware as a team in practice, as a staff in practice. I didn't think we did a good job of being situationally aware during practice because we're using the down markers and the shot and the clock and all that stuff. Today, even though it was short, we were way better situationally aware from a staff standpoint and from a player standpoint. But, we got another couple weeks to improve on that.
You mentioned
All the coaches you have, staff members you have, is there room for someone to go through the net, go through everything, to just be a innovative coach, to look at what others are doing, high school, colleges, and bring new ideas to you?
Yeah, Bob, there should be more than them. I really think all of them should do that at times. I know you get busy in recruiting and all that kind of stuff, but, if you're a coach at this level or any level, you should always kind of be looking and see what's out there. And now it's easy. Before you're like, how do I get the film on it? Now, whether you get on Twitter or whatever you get on, there's some innovative stuff. And I'm not on a lot. I'm on Twitter probably more because that's where recruits are on, whatever. But about every day I could find something like, man, that's kind of a neat little concept or neat little idea. And I do think I have to remind coaches that hey, doesn't mean you have to do it. And don't be afraid. You have to get used to rejection. When you're a college coach, you get used to rejecting. Recruits reject you all the time. You're no, and I'm going somewhere else. But also, hey, I want to bring this. Hey, can we try this? And I'll say no. You got to be used to getting told no, and then but keep looking. It's like the same way with recruits. I want the best recruiters will keep giving guys for me to look at, and no. I take that one. Same way with schemes and different stuff football wise.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, hey,
Appreciate you.
all right.